It's 9 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everybody today to the June meeting of the County Board. Would you please rise and recite with me the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Sir. Ellis.
Here.
Farnham.
Here.
Lawton.
Here.
Ludington.
Here.
Patrick. Bruner.
Here.
And Voigt.
Here. We do have a quorum. We're going to look at the minutes from May 8th, 2024, and the special meeting minutes of May 13th, 2024. You had these in your possessions. Are there any questions or clarifications or anything needed to deal with these minutes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Dan moves. Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Next, we have claims against the county. You had those in your possession. Are there any questions or clarifications needed? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve those bills, please? Okay, Russ moves and Lisa seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next, we have the claims against the county board members, or claims for the county board members. Are there any discussion or clarifications needed? Hearing none, motion to approve those claims. Dan moves, Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Both 5 and 6 are approved. Now we come to the portion of the meeting for public comments. We ask that you identify yourself and restrict your comments to 5 minutes. Are there any public comments? There's a roster up there in front of the doors. Hearing none, we'll move on to highway. First, a resolution of support to assist improving Grandview, Kansas Township's access road to Christensen's Farm for 50th Street with possible pursuit of Economic Development Fund. Are there any questions? Need a motion to approve that resolution, please? Dan moves, Russ seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
Thank you. The resolution does pass. Resolution to appropriate aid for the county bridge fund to substantially assist in the expense of improving drains for Christensen Farms access project on 450th Street in Grandview Township, CATB 280. Are there any questions on that? Yes.
Does everyone here know what Christian Farm is, what it does? I just wondered.
I believe so.
I just wondered.
Are there any questions? Okay. I need a motion to approve that. Dan moves. Russ seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk?
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
The resolution is passed. The last resolution is resolution to appropriate aid for the county bridge fund to substantially assist in the expense of improving drainage for the Christensen's Farm access project for 50th Street in Kansas Township, CATB 281. Any questions on that project? I need a motion to approve that resolution, please. Russ moves. Carl, was that you?
Yes.
Carl seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, Mr. Clerk?
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton,
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Here. Yes.
Okay, that was passed, thank you.
Sleep.
Number 9, resolution authorizing chairman to execute documents necessary to obtain financing at Prospect Bank to purchase a vehicle for the quarter. Discuss that, I guess.
Do we have a figure on how much it's gonna cost?
No.
Okay.
The funds will come out of Coroner's fund
Okay.
that he has. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, I have the invoice.
Oh,
and
do
all the
you?
paperwork
Okay,
there.
all
So
right.
it's-
I didn't have it, so.
The resolution at the time we drafted it, we made it just like the other one, it said not to exceed 50,000, but I
Okay.
believe it's gonna be closer to 43, maybe 44,000. So with the
Is that
trade-in
with
and
the
what he has
trade-in and
in
everything?
his budget, yes.
Okay. Any further questions? Did you have?
No.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the resolution? Russ moves. Lisa seconds?
Yeah, sign papers.
Yeah. Would you call the roll, please?
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
Next, we have the FY '23 audit performed by Whitley to approve. Carl and I were there for the discussions. I forget who else was there. At any rate, Augie, were you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And we asked questions, and I think we are satisfied. Carl, did you have a comment?
No, the only comment was on the commissary.
Right, which we need to deal with yet.
Right, and I was looking through it last night, I read that
I'll approve.
pretty carefully, so we need to address that issue.
Right. And that is, it's gotten large enough basically that we need to make sure that they suggest some extra steps that we take to take care of that fund.
The commissary, that's like food and so forth, or what is, to me, a commissary would be like kitchen or something like that, or food that you
No,
get.
it's for prisoner supplies like candy, chips,
Okay, yeah, okay.
stationery, you know, just things that they need.
Okay.
Mattresses at times. I don't know.
We give them a allowance or something every month
No.
to spend?
No, they use their own money.
Okay.
And they have a sheet I think every week they gave it to them, and they can order stuff, and then the county sends it off, and it's shipped in, and it
But
comes
the
out.
prisoners pay for it?
Prisoners pay for all of it, the county doesn't pay anything.
Okay.
Okay?
But we need to soon address how we're gonna handle that.
And we need to address that in the audit, when we bid the audit this year.
Yeah,
So that's included.
Excuse me, who handles the money at the jail? We have one person handles the money that prisoners use?
right, well, you know, like when they're booked in, they take their money, but then they put money into a commissary fund, and the jail administrator, I think he
Okay.
is actually in charge of it.
All right.
And it's,
Is there a motion to approve the audit, please? Carl moves. Russ seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Next, accept filing of sheriff's semi-annual report. Do we, I don't see it in my packet. Do we have, is it in there?
Should all have it in there, do y'all?
Yeah.
Do you? I may have just overlooked it. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, folks. All right. Any questions on the report? There's nobody from the sheriff's office here right now, but shows the fees collected the first 6 months of the year.
which is $11,296 is fees he's collected over the last 6 months
Correct.
for a variety of different things. I'll make that motion.
Carl moves to accept. Russ moves, or seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, it does carry. Next, county clerks. Same thing. You have any questions on the county clerk?
And his fees for the 6-month period is
Yes,
the 56,000, is that what it is?
Yes,
I know down here at the bottom it says 49, but,
yeah, the 56 goes to the general fund, and the 49 stays in my dedicated funds,
okay.
dock storage, GIS.
So you took in like 105,000
Yes.
in 6 months.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's fairly consistent,
Mhm.
give or take a few thousand.
Right.
Motion to accept. Carl? Russ seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we'll move to department head reports. Adam?
Nothing really new since Monday, but it's one thing you guys will be seeing probably heavily socialized here in the next month. The PR marketing manager, Christina Hodgson, and myself have developed a new program called the Hero Helper. So right now it is geared towards the special needs, primarily children population. What we'll do is there'll be a car component, like a seatbelt wrap, and then a home component that will go on their fridge. But it basically contains medical information should we need to care for that population. There's gonna be a sticker that'll go on the home and the auto, but that will notify fire, police, and EMS that if they see that sticker, to know that there is medical information available and they're dealing with someone with special needs. So we've been working on this project for quite a while, but we're finally ready to roll it out, so we'll be seeing some marketing on that probably. Should receive the last piece today, so we'll start rolling it out. But super excited about that project. I think it's gonna have a huge impact. Like I said, right now, we're gonna start on the special needs children, but it is expandable to every patient population. But it is geared at helping fire, police, and EMS better serve the community.
Okay, thank you. I skipped over Aaron. Do you have anything to report?
Questions?
Any questions of Aaron? Do you have anything that you wish to talk about, Pam? Okay. Tom?
We completed our big project of the year, which was resurfacing the main runway, and that's completed. We still have to finish the final striping, but that has to, the asphalt has to cure for 30 days before they can apply the final striping. Worked out real good.
Do you have any questions of Tom? Taylor?
No,
911?
nothing to report.
Nothing?
No.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay. Kim, Health Department?
Well, we're busy as usual, and we recently got just this week, a competitive car seat grant. So we have been out of car seats for a long time, so we're pretty excited about that. And picked up 50 car seats this week. So that's significant to help our community, and those go for free to the clients who really need them the most, who come into our offices. So we're filling some vacancies, and we worked the Shriners event and then walked in the parade. So just doing all those cool summer things, so doing well.
Good. Any other questions or concerns? Okay. Wyatt, how are you?
Doing fine.
Do you have anything you wish to impart?
Farm Bureau wise, nothing urgent. I'll take that hat off, put on the farmer's market hat as we are the clearinghouse, and just want to say thank you for letting them set up as usual on the square. Much appreciated.
Any questions of Wyatt? Anything?
I've got
Yes.
one question on,
Yeah.
I keep hearing about solar farms and leases that way. Have you heard of any movement, anybody getting serious about doing anything down in that area?
I know there's people that have signed.
Right.
I don't know who, what, when,
Yeah.
but, you know,
But you
maybe.
haven't heard of any companies actually ready to start something up or anything, company, market like that.
They gotta, like we talked about, they gotta have a certain amount of acreage to make it worth their while, and I don't, doesn't seem like they're anywhere near that,
Okay, okay.
at least, just my
Yeah,
inclination.
just keep your ears open if you hear anything, let us know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, we posted the amended ordinance that we updated, what, last month? Is it online now?
It's in the process of being uploaded, yes.
Okay. All right. Augie, do you have anything, please?
In your packets, I left you a brief presentation from IMRF, something like that. I attended a webinar, and it was over their investment results for the last year. And I'm certainly not going to go through the hour-long presentation with these PowerPoint pages, but I just pulled out some of the highlights for you. Basically, it's a defined benefit plan. So when an employee starts with the county, they can have a pretty good idea what their retirement is gonna be based on their salary and their longevity. So, unlike a traditional 401k where you put your money in and it's subject to the risk of the market, IMRF bears that risk. And in return, currently, they're basing the investment performance for retirees at 7.25%. And it's a complicated calculation. They average it out over the last 5 years. And so they had a pretty good year last year, and 13.2% return, which is pretty decent. And so the total investments in the plan as of the end of last year were $52 billion. And IMRF is a standalone pension plan. They're not part of any of the other state plans. And they are, approximately 98% funded, which means they have enough money to pay out retirement benefits. Whereas a lot of the plans, the other retirement plans in the state, could be somewhere around 40%, maybe 50% funded. So the other plans would like to get their hands on the IMRF money, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know if you had a chance to look through there, but if you haven't, it's interesting to see. Here's just a statistic that out of every dollar, pension dollar, 65 cents comes from investment returns, 23 cents comes from employers, and 11 cents comes from employees. So employees are required to put money in. The employer's going to put so much in, and it depends upon the market. When the market has the trend is good, the employer doesn't have to put in as much. When the market is down, employer has to kick in more. But the employee contribution is the same. So that's pretty much that. I just wanted to put that in front of you to let you know that the money you're putting into IMRF is being very well managed and accounted for. So, questions?
Yeah, so does the county then get an assessment for the current or the future year's requirement based upon the last year's performance?
Yeah, it's based on excuse me, they smooth out the last 5 years. Well, I shouldn't say they smooth it out. They take those returns and they kind of average that out. And then every year we get a notice as to what our contribution rate's going to be. employer contribution. Did I answer your question? Okay. And again, I would like to compliment the board. A number of years ago, we took some pretty big steps and made some large contributions to get out from underwater in some of the regular plan and the SLEP plan. So we were several hundreds of thousands of dollars underwater, but we made a commitment and we took care of that, and now we're sitting in pretty good shape. So,
Pam, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Was this webinar a free webinar to use?
well, so they invited the authorized agents of IMRF, but it is available to go back and look at.
Okay.
So I believe if you go to,
I was just wondering if Jessica was aware of it, and I think that that is something that she could benefit.
yeah, I don't, honestly, I don't know if she is, but I'll make a note and I'll reach out to her.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Anything else, Augie?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll go to committee reports. Dan?
Andrew had to let go of a new employee she hired about 3 months ago. The person was not doing the job, especially on the weekend. Andrew'd go out and check, and no food, and pens weren't clean, so she had to let her go, but she has hired a new person. He's a retired military person. He has dogs of his own. Actually, he has adopted a couple of dogs from the shelter out here, so she thinks he'll work out very well. So he's already started, so that's where we're at out there. So this can't keep anybody because nobody, especially young people, aren't used to the work and the noise. The noise is deafening. So. But he has 6 dogs of his own and has adopted a couple, so she thinks they'll work out. So he's already started. So.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything else on the shelter from anybody? Okay. Phil? Russ? Carl? Lisa?
Yes. I have to come up with something. I know that although Dina and Jill aren't here, Jill and I have been communicating about need to talk to someone in authority at the current solar project north of Kansas because they have not been receptive or responsive, I should say, to Jill reaching out to them to be able to develop their emergency services plan. And I have sent emails to all of the leadership that I have had contact with from the development phase on through and got no response.
Can I suggest that you go up and see Lauren and explain the situation, and maybe having the state's attorney or assistant state's attorney write a letter to the folks saying that they're, I don't know whether you put in non-compliance or that we're concerned with their compliance on this issue, and get that squared away.
Yeah.
And she could also tell you, Lauren can tell you then what our options are.
Okay,
All right?
will do.
Does anybody disagree with that?
Have they done anything there, over there?
This is the one just north of
Right.
Kansas. I don't go that way, but it's installed, but I don't know if it's turned on.
That's the same company as the other one,
No.
the big one.
So have they done work?
Well, there isn't a big one. You mean the one that's by Steve Terrell's house?
I don't know, as you go into Kansas.
You mean the one over in Coles County, across the state
Oh,
county
that,
line?
okay, that's across the,
Yeah, all that's in Coles County.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't realize
Yeah.
it was Kansas, okay.
No, there are people who are getting signed up around Kansas, and I'm
Okay.
making an assumption it would connect to the one in Coles, although the entity has a different name, surprise, surprise. But that's separate, and it
Okay.
hasn't,
Okay, I didn't,
it hasn't even gotten started yet. So we have the one, the 40-acre one north of Kansas, and then we have the one that's owned by Steve Terrell's house. And those are the only two that are definitely in the pipeline for close, near future.
So is the one north of Kansas, have they done anything construction-wise?
Yeah, it's in.
It's already in?
The last time, and again, I don't go that way.
Okay. Well,
But, yeah, they were, this has been months ago, they were putting the island.
Really, I didn't know they'd even
Yeah.
started on
Drive, you're more likely to maybe drive, who drives through there?
I do all the time. It looks totally complete,
it. Really?
complete.
Okay.
It's what, 40 acres, 35?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and you said there's another one?
well, then there's the one that we've talked about that
No,
didn't have to
sorry.
have approval because the original letter was.
You mean the one south of Paris? Yeah,
South of
okay,
Paris,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's action started that he was alluding, that Wyatt was alluding to, that there are people who are getting signed up.
Yeah, down Grandview, along
Yeah,
that
yeah.
power line. Yeah, okay.
That is our assumption.
You what?
That's our assumption.
Because Dina has forwarded to me, her staff has forwarded to me some documentation that leases have been made with
Yeah.
individuals. That's it.
So whenever there's leases made, she gets that information?
When they've been recorded.
Yeah, they
Okay.
get recorded
I
and
could
then
get
that
some
goes,
and then they go to
that goes
Dina.
over there.
Okay, all right.
And so we have that workflow going, so that if there's a solar or a wind, which there are no wind right now,
Right.
then I get a copy of those.
Okay.
Any other questions of Lisa or any other issues? Okay. Got a couple things. I was contacted. Our state senator and our state representative are wanting to put an office in our county, in Paris. They have asked if we would consider allowing a state senate / rep office in our government center. It would be available to either party depending on who held the offices, and they want to know if we would consider that. They would not pay rent, that's not part of the deal. It would be, they would have access, people would have access and have appointments, they could come forth, because I asked the question, you know, we can't have people running around in the place. I explained the situation, and they said they would escort them back if they had an appointment with a constituent or some other meeting. So I didn't know, I wanted to make that request available. So they're going to start looking to hire somebody to man that office, or woman that office, if you will, to have that office occupied by somebody who could handle issues and problems of our county residents and citizens.
So they'd be there 5 days a week? Really?
So I think the building committee should probably take a look at that here in the next few days. And I wanted to find out if anybody vehemently objected to us even looking at that, or how the group felt.
Take a look at it.
Okay. The other thing, we do have some kind of security issues on the northeast corner of the government center. There have been occasions when a number of people have gathered there at that corner. I know that Tammy had talked to the sheriff and asked what he could do. He told them to call the police, and when they come out, they disperse, and then once the police leave, they come back. They're young adults, some kids. The rides comes through there and picks up people there on that corner of the building. So I don't know whether the building committee might consider putting up a no loitering area, pickup only. I don't know, something on that order. We should consider doing something there. Okay? This morning when I left the building, there was a lady in a wheelchair and a young person standing there. And the lady that was in the wheelchair got picked up by rides. But just so you'll be aware. see, you do have a copy of the budget to take a look at. We're 7 months into the year. The last payroll is not on there, but you can see where we're at on fund, the balances. And take a look at that. If you have any
One
questions.
thing I saw is on the state's attorney.
Yes. Remember I talked to us about them having to do witnesses, and it was gonna cost upwards of 60 grand for.
Well, yeah, in the bills, I noticed that there was one for 10,000 on this one particular trial, and there was another for like 30,000. And I figured that was expert witnesses for the
Yes.
trial and
Yes.
stuff. But on
What page?
page 8. Something about
49 legal counsel for
No.
indigent,
this number on page 7.
7.
State's attorney's salary overtime, 17,000. What in the world would that be? You know,
I
there's
have-
zero budgeted, but it says.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a chance to
Yeah, I
look at it.
just happened to look through this one this morning, but I don't know what that,
Yeah, that's,
Is that salary staff on that?
He's on
line?
salary, isn't he? He's on salary?
yeah, they're both on salary.
Okay,
Why
you
couldn't
got-
get overtime?
So you can't tell.
unless that would be for the secretaries.
No, that's, 5015. Well, I'm just gonna have to ask.
I just,
So you can't get overtime.
Well, and I have a question on publications. I think that got assigned, the 19 should be assigned to a 800 fund. We're gonna have to do that, okay? But I'll find out and let you know. Because the only people that are eligible for overtime are the deputies there,
right.
okay? Thank you. Of course, we had the groundbreaking yesterday. We're moving ahead with the sidewalks around the courthouse and getting them repaired, 22 of them, plus 2 approaches. Can you think of other things, Carl or Russ, that we should be letting the board know about?
No, we got another value engineering meeting tomorrow at 1.
Is that already here? Is that, okay.
And I noticed on the bills, we have, how much was that? 27,000 to Klinger for value engineering.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, if costing that kind of money for value engineering, I mean, we've already made a few cuts, but now we're down to, there isn't too much, and
Right.
they're minimal, and why spend a bunch of money for them to look at when no more than we're gonna be saving?
Right,
So that's something we need to talk about tomorrow.
Right.
You know. whether
that's at
we're-
1 o'clock, right?
Pardon?
1 o'clock, right?
Correct. So I just, that caught my eye. Need to
Okay.
Watch that.
Anything else to come before the meeting this morning? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Russ moves. Dan seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Time for break.
We are adjourned.